Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Gary
And Crystal
Show.
Okay. So how was your week, Gary?
Pretty good. I know you've been busy this week.
I have been.
Why don't you tell people what you've been doing?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and I hadn't really done much with it. Actually, it was just pretty much a blank page, but I thought it would be fun to upload the show on my YouTube channel. So I did that, and then Gary and I, we did a channel introduction, kind of a mini show on the YouTube channel. And so if you want to check it out, it's Faith Angel 95. That's FAITH, Angel ANGEL, and then the number 9 and the number 5.
Yeah, and still the show format's going to be like an audio. We may decide to do some kind of a video show at some point. But it kind of helps for us. Like, we can do the show on a Sunday morning in our pajamas. It's just a lot easier to do it in the audio format.
Right, so now everyone knows we're in our pajamas.
That's okay. They can listen to it in their pajamas, too.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess no one will know, will they? Okay, you want to get started?
Sure. Just to update people on the bank closings, as we found out this week, there were actually 3 new bank closings, one in Kansas, one in Arizona, and one in Florida.
Okay.
So that hasn't stopped yet.
Right.
They're still coming.
Okay.
And the first article I want to talk about is in relation to the economy, is an article by Douglas A. McIntyre. Mm-hmm. It's from his blog that he does, and the title of the article is "The Jobless Recovery is Joined by a Creditless One." And so what he's questioning here is, if the government says that the economy is on recovery, he's questioning how that could happen when the credit is contracting. It basically reports that the Federal Reserve reported that the consumer credit is still contracting and actually fell $3 billion in October.
Wow, that's a lot. You said
Yeah.
$3 billion for just the month of October?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And they also said that, so far holiday spending is up over last year, but they are worried that by the end of the Christmas buying season, that there could be a drop-off, because they're saying that a lot of credit card companies have capped the amount that people can spend on their cards.
Okay.
So they're saying that could be a problem, too.
Right. And then you said that it's affecting your industry, too, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, haven't seen it so far, but if this is the case, if this continues to happen, people need loans. I'm in the home repair industry, and people need, get money and loans to do projects. Some of them larger dollar amounts, and if people can't get money, they can't do these repairs.
Right.
And that would affect a lot of people that do construction and home repair type work.
Right. So did the article say why credit is being restricted to consumers?
It doesn't say why. My thought was that maybe that the banks or the credit card and bank people are worried that people may not have jobs and may not be able to pay those loans back.
Okay. Do you think that's a legitimate argument?
I don't know. What do you think?
I thought that was the whole reason why we had the bailout program, the bank bailouts. I thought that was to shore up their balance sheet so that they could start lending again.
That was the idea, was to make sure that the credit didn't stop.
Right.
Which, I know it hasn't stopped, but if it's contracting,
right,
it's not doing its job then, is it?
No, it's not. It's not filtering down into to the individuals like it was supposed to be.
So you don't think they're just worried and being more conservative in their lending practices?
No, I don't. I don't know why banks aren't lending. I don't know why they're not lending. I don't know why they're not working with consumers to modify their mortgages. I actually don't know what they're doing with the money, to be honest.
Paying bonuses, I guess.
Paying bonuses and buying up little banks. I think that's what they're doing. They're going on a small bank acquisition buying spree.
Yeah, so they're like, we'll take your money, but we're just going to do what we want with it, I guess.
Right. I do think there needs to be a little bit more accountability, though. There's got to be a way, particularly since it's taxpayers' money. If you're going to have to pay for this, and if our children and our grandchildren are going to have to pay for this, there really does need to be more accountability, because it seems like us as individuals, we're held accountable. It's like we have a higher standard that we have to adhere to, but then if you're a big corporation, if you're quote unquote too big to fail, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. If I was to buy a house and go and close on the house, and let's say I was borrowing $100,000 to buy a house, and then I decide that, I don't think I want to borrow the $100,000 and use that money for the house. I think I'll use it to go, I don't know, buy clothes or something. I wouldn't be able to close on the house.
Right.
So, I mean, I know that's not the best example, but I guess the point being is that
You wouldn't get the money either.
right, right. Obviously, I guess if I'm not really buying a house, I wouldn't get the money. But there's just so many strings attached from a consumer standpoint. It just seems like there's like no strings attached to the bank. So I don't see how, if credit is contracting, if jobs are being lost, if people are losing their homes. I mean, basically what you're saying is that we're having a homeless, creditless, and a jobless recovery. And those words go just the opposite to what a recovery would be. How can you have a recovery with no jobs, no homes, and no credit?
I know the argument they'll say that all those things are lag behinds and they're going to come as other things improve.
So as other things improve, eventually we're going to get a home.
That's the argument.
That's the argument.
I know that's
right.
the argument. I'm
right.
not saying it's true, but
right.
that's what you hear.
Right. And then I guess I have another bone to pick, and this is one of my bones to pick with the banks, and that's all the fees that they charge. They charge a fee for everything. I mean, it's just a matter of time before they charge a fee for walking in the door. You remember when they were trying to have the teller fee? If you go to a teller, you had to pay a fee,
right?
And there was such an outcry that they stopped. They stopped with
ATM
that,
fees.
right? I mean, just fees. But anyway, I think I was telling you the other day I went to the bank. I had a client, and we were doing some work at a bank with the client, and then I was getting paid my attorney fees at the same time. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm right here at the bank. Got the check, and I said, let me just cash it because it's the same bank, and it's just for convenience purposes. I can do it here. And I was paid with a cashier's check, so I figured it'd be no problem. The cashier's check was drawn in that exact same bank that I was in, so I figured they'd just give me the cash. Well, the lady looked at me and said there's going to be a $6 fee for cashing the cashier's check. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is your cashier's check. I mean, why do I have to pay a $6 fee for cashing a cashier's check at the bank that issued the cashier's check? I thought that if you went to the bank that issued the check, I mean, they will cash the check, but also they don't charge you a fee for that. And I'm trying to figure out when did, I don't do that often, so maybe something I'm not aware of, but I'm like, when did they charge a fee for cashing a check at their own bank? Just because you don't have an account there, you got to pay a fee.
Yeah, well, I had that happen with my company check that was from a bank that I didn't have an account in. They were charging me money to cash a check there too.
Right. Well, anyway, I didn't have to pay the fee.
But it wasn't a cashier's check.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It was a cashier's check.
It was a payroll check from
right,
their bank.
Right.
Is,
right. But they can go and they know it just seems like it was just a reason to charge a fee. Now she waived the fee, and the fact that the fee got waived so easily, all I said is, why do I have to pay this fee? And then all of a sudden the fee went away. To me, makes me think it was just a made up fee. It's just and they feeing people to death is how I see it. And I think and I think that more needs to be done really to work on those fees and because I think the debit cards, they changed the laws a little bit, so now banks are not able to automatically overdraw your account if you go to a teller and withdraw money. Now there's a little bit more disclosure, so you'll be aware. I think that's supposed to take effect sometime next year, but I think it doesn't go far enough. I mean, you get feed to death, and I think once again, I think that if we're penalized harshly as an individual for anything that we do, and the banks, they get all this money and they just buy other banks with it. They go do other things with it. They do everything else but help out consumers.
So what else you got?
I have spoken. Okay, I guess I kind of went off on my little rant there.
Did you get off your high horse?
My high horse. What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I'm just making a joke.
Oh, okay. Well, that bothers me. Anyway, okay, so I have another article. And this goes along with what you just got through saying. It says that the international recovery is to be creditless and jobless. So not only are we having this creditless, jobless recovery here in the United States, but globally, I guess people are supposed to accept the fact that this economic recovery period that we're in is going to be one that's where you won't have any jobs and you won't have any credit.
Sounds like so it's not just here in the States.
No, it's not just here in the States. And this article does kind of go further. It just says that unemployment, they're expecting globally unemployment is going to remain high over the next several years, particularly in advanced economies. And they said that many of those that are unemployed either have the wrong skill set for this for the current economy, or they're in the wrong place, meaning it's just where they live at. And that's a problem, I think, for homeowners. If you own a home and you want to relocate for a job and you can't sell your home, then what do you do?
Right, you're in a catch-22.
Right, you can try and rent your home, but are you going to be able to rent it now with the value going down? And there's a lot of rental homes on the market now as a matter of fact. But are you going to be able to rent it for the amount of your mortgage payment?
Right.
So anyway,